Good morning, everybody. Those of you that have watched my previous YouTube videos, I appreciate it very much. But just to let you know that something else strange happened the other day. Just outside here, I heard a terrible bang. It was as though somebody slammed the door on this pane of glass outside here. And I looked down and there was a kingfisher there. It was the size of a blackbird. It's not like the English small kingfisher. So I went down, I looked at him, his wing was down a bit, and I thought, oh, he's hurt himself. But then he's just sat there, looking very strange. I thought, I'll go and get my phone and I'll take a photograph of him because he was so lovely. The colours on were absolutely beautiful. Anyway, I went to get the camera and he'd flown off. And I've read many stories about birds hitting windows and tapping on the windows and things like that. But I've had three things happen now, and they've all resulted in me knowing about death. First one, many years ago, when my mother died, a woodpecker tapped on the side of the house, and my mother died about a year later or a few months later. I can't remember what it was now. Then when I was in Nigeria, two small parakeets came and tapped on the window, and this in 2012. I went back home about 3 months later or whatever it was. My father had died. But now this kingfisher here, I thought, oh no, this is a very bad omen. I know I'm going to hear of somebody dying. Now we've got this virus about here and it's very worrying. We worry about our families, worry about people who are close to us, what life's about. Anyway, about a day after that there, somebody called me up and said her father had just had a heart attack, a small stroke, and had pneumonia. He was taken into hospital, but last night she texted me and she said he's gone. And I knew then it was that bird that hit in that window was a messenger from God or from an angel or whatever it was. I don't know. I can't put a finger on things like that. Is it superstition? Is it something that just happens? Or is it something that we don't know about, and we're just trying to find out? But this is what I'm telling you now, with my own experience of hearing these things, seeing these things, and it, to me now, it's been proved that if a bird hits it or come tapping on the window, I'm going to tell you this now, you will hear of somebody. It might be your family, it might not be your family. But it's going to be somebody you know, or somebody of a distant friend. And also, this person said that when she was in the hospital, she saw a big smoke cloud. She said to the maintenance people, "Have you been smoking?" They said no. I think that could have been the spirit of her father moving off. I asked God, I said, God, can you spare this man? I've done good and bad in this world, and I think I've done a lot of good also. And I asked him for a favour. But no, he didn't listen. That man's time was up and he had to go. The angel came and took him. And many, many strange things have happened like this. And I keep an open mind. I want to say yes, it is definite, 100%. But seeing teacup reading, seeing predictions done, seeing them coming true, I can't dismiss now that there is proof of a spirit world there. There's got to be something. We all ask and we all say, oh, I wish I won the lottery. I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. No, your life is mapped out for you. It's in a straight line. You'll wander off that line and you'll come back onto it. Everything is mapped out for you now. Two of my friends, when I saw my friend told me that he'd seen him. My mother told me she'd seen Jesus stand beside her bed for 2 nights running. These people don't lie. They have no reason to lie about that. So what is it? What is it? Even I dreamt my mother's death, seeing the Holy Ghost, or so my friend said, up in the left-hand corner. I don't know, it's one of those things which I've experienced, they've experienced, they've gone, and they told me the stories, which I'm passing on to you. You can keep an open mind for it, and it'd be good to hear some of the stories that you people have got, and to listen to this video. And we often think, where did we come from? Why are we on earth? What is it here that we should be doing, and what has God planned for us on this earth? We come on this earth, we're born, but looking at today of what's happened all over the world with people and how they're rushing around making money or trying to make money, trying to strive for the better things in life, which we all are doing. I'm now thousands of miles away from my family, from people who are supposed to be in love with you, you know, and you're trying to struggle to pay bills for tax man. The tax man who is taking your money, he's giving it to foreign countries. The foreign countries are taking that money. They're not using it for the people. They're using it for the ill-forgotten gains. They're buying cars, airplanes, bigger houses, nicer cars for themselves and their family, looking after their own family. They've forgotten about the people. We can see that with places like Haiti, where $15 billion have gone into Haiti, and nothing's been done with it. It's exactly the same. It hasn't been improved. The people that took that money have taken it, put it into their own bank accounts or far abroad or wherever they're done with it, and the people are still struggling. There's refuge places there, no recycling. And this is not just Haiti, this is all over the world. We've got a plastic problem. Out on the beaches here, I see plastic everywhere. Animals are getting choked up with plastics. We're not taking the plastic, recycling, making into large bags which could be used for water proof things to put up in all our things in a hurricane or anything like that. We're not making shelters out of them. We're not doing anything which can be constructive. All we're thinking about is burying it, throwing it in the sea, or whatever we're doing. We've polluted the air, the land and the sea. Everything is now a complete mess. Now we have this virus. Why do we have this virus? Why is everything happening from China? What's happening to these people who are in these laboratories making these diseases? Is it man-made? Or is it coming from an animal or filth or whatsoever? Yes, you and me are guilty of it. None of us are exempt from this thing here. You, me, we throw out trash. And when that trash is thrown out on the ground, it's going to rot. If it goes and rot, it goes into the ground. You drink the water coming out of the ground and you get sick. Instead of taking that trash home, put it into a bin where people can take it and recycle it, no, what we're doing is just throw it. We don't need that. But in the end, it's coming back to us. Now this virus should be a wake-up call for us all. Now whether it was man-made in Wuhan, which I think it was, because the Chinese, the Americans, even the British, and I don't know about any other country, for years they've been after making money out of the common cold. If you have a tablet that will cure the common cold tomorrow, they will buy you out. You'll be a billionaire tomorrow. Guaranteed. They'll buy that tablet off you and it'll never be marketed. If you go into any store, you see all the tablets and that there for a common cold, for ailments and things like that. It's because the drug industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And you're not going to stop it. They're going to come after you. They're going to stop you from making or telling the people about these things that they're doing. Older people like myself who go into hospital, you don't know if you're going to come out. They don't want old people. All they want is the young people up to the age of about 40. Over that, you're a waste of time. They don't want you anymore. You get to 55 and you're going to retirement, you are a burden to the industry. You're a burden to the country. They don't want you. They want you out of the way, gone. So we come on this earth, we struggle hard to make a better living for our families, for ourselves, better than what we had when we were growing up. Me being just born after the war and up there, it's a hard struggle. It's been a hard struggle for many of us. And it still is. But I find that when I hear about, oh, he's a billionaire. I don't care if you're a billionaire, whoever you are. You're not going to give me your money. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. If you're nasty to me, I'll tell you where to go. I've been like that all my entire life. I hate bullies. And I hate people like that. If you've got the money, why haven't you built yourself a nice hospital? Why haven't you done a clinic for the animals? Why haven't you done something to protect ourselves against these viruses and the filth on this earth? Why don't you do something which is creative for a change instead of keep on taking? That's all we do. We want, I want, I want, I want. I want a new phone. You're walking down the road, everybody's got a phone stuck in their face and nobody says, good morning. I remember one day I was walking through my town and I was the only one, people walking straight towards me. And I thought, I'm the only one who keeps on moving out the way. And I thought, right, the next people that come down the road, I'm not going to move out the way for them. So I walked down the road, and this chap was walking along. He's come down there slowly, not looking where he's going. The next minute, I didn't move out the way. Bang! I moved out, I hit into him fairly hard. And I was going to turn around and said, you're going to watch where you're going. I turned round and it was a blind man. I didn't know what to say. I thought to myself, what a complete jerk you really are to do that. It was a messenger from God or from somebody to say, yes, you move out the way. If they're too ignorant to keep on moving towards you, then don't take it out on other people. Take it out on yourself. It's you to blame. So that's what I've done in future. I don't blame people. I try to help people now. Life on this planet is only one thing you have to do. And that's to help somebody less fortunate than yourself. If you can do that, then you've done yourself some good things. I remember one day saw a family walking down the road and he said to me, can you give me some money for food? I said, why? Where are you from? And he looked Arabic and a bit scruffy, had his clothes on, hadn't washed, had a beard on and everything else there. His wife stood there and he had a young daughter standing there. She must have been, I suppose, 8 or 10. And I said, where have you come from? He said, Syria. I said, are you an illegal immigrant here? He said, yes. He said, I've just come up. He said, I'm fleeing my country. He said, because of the war and the war-torn areas. He said, my house was ransacked. My other child was killed and we've had to leave Syria. So I said, well, okay, and I gave him some money. I'm not going to tell you how much I gave him, but I gave him a good amount. I said, I hope that will help you for a good meal for the week. I said, but I could do some work on the garden. So he said, I'd appreciate that. I said, okay, you can come round and do a bit of lawns here and whatever. And I gave him a name for a friend of mine who had a farm, who was working on a farm, and he did that also. He did some work there. And one day I saw him walking down the road. I said, do you want a lift into town? He said, yes. Oh, I like that. And jumped in there. We got talking. And I said, what did you do in Syria? And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, oh, you know, just an ordinary illegal immigrant, a waste of time. Another low life, just want to come to Britain, get on the Social Security and doing everything like that, like most of them do. And I'm not blaming everybody. I'm not putting the tar brush on everybody. He said, I was a surgeon. I said, you're a surgeon in Syria and you're working on the farm. Anyway, cut a long story short, I said I'm going to try and get him into the local hospital, which I did. And now he's got a work permit and everything else. But that man he was saving people's lives. He was an asset to something, you know. He didn't there because there's a war on because of ignorant people, because of politicians, not because of the people. I've travelled around this world. I've been to Iran. I never had people say, oh, go to Iran? That's terrible. The people there are terrible. No, they're not. They're very, very nice people. Iraqi people. They're very, very nice. I stand and talk to them all the time. I've spoken to terrorists. I've spoken to all the hard cases there is about. They're good men. I've been out Afghanistan. The women, some there in Afghanistan, are very, very nice people. Some of the men are very nice people. I have no problem with them whatsoever. I've met some real good friends. It's only that small element of people who are crooks and bandits that want to go and rob people. They want to kill them, and they hide behind a cloak of religion. Religion has nothing really in wars to do anything. There's only one God, and that's all people need to worry about. There's one God. No matter what you call him, whatever you bow down to, whatever you preach, whether it's the table, to an effigy, or whatever it is, there's only one God. You can do whatever you want on this earth, but you don't have the right to come around and bully somebody else and to kill somebody else because your ill-forgotten gains, you want money. You're not in the end, it's not going to be worth anything to you. So you've got to stop these things. But on the other hand, we have to look at what a terrorist is. Is he a freedom fighter? If people came to my land and they invaded my land and my house got bombed, or somebody killed that invading force killed my family, what do? I pick up a gun and I go after them. I don't want them in my country. And this is what we've got to realize. We've got to look at both sides all the time. We just can't say, they're doing so and so. We have to look at it. But on the other hand, the reason why sometimes we go to these places, apart from taking all the minerals and that which are in these places which we want, there is a bad element there who are bullying the people there, who are innocent people, who are killing them, are taking advantage from them. They think they're the ones who should be ruling. And what they do, they go and kill them, and they cut the hands off, cut the feet off, maim people. That's the time when Britain, America, or somebody else there stand up and said, enough's enough, we're coming after you. These terror groups are no good. They're just bandits. They're not freedom fighters, they're bandits. And these people are going to be stopped, and they will be stopped. And it comes back to say the same with my country, which we're talking about. We've got a man who is a surgeon. He comes because of the wartime. But on the other hand, we've got the criminal element that comes to my country. They bring their own ways with it. They don't integrate. It was the same as Idi Amin many years ago. When Idi Amin stood up and he said, the Asian people that are in his country are not integrating. He said, they're bringing their own ways into it. They're changing his country of Uganda. He said, and I don't want it. He said, if you can't integrate, come and do the customs of the people that are here. We've offered you a place of refuge. We've offered you a place of sanctuary. But you've come here, brought your own ways, and you expect us to have your ways and to follow your ways instead of doing it the way we are. He said, now you can all move. You can get out. This is when Harold Wilson allowed everybody to come into England. The reason why that is, another man stood up and said, no, we don't want them in here. It's not that we don't like immigrants. It's not that we don't like foreigners. That's not the point. I'm in a foreign country now. But when you come to a country, you must obey by the laws there. Respect the people there. Don't bring your own ways and try and change the people in that country. You're not going to do it. Each country has a square wheel. That square wheel will turn and it'll keep turning. You bring a round wheel and it breaks, 6 months later they'll be back to square wheel again. And I'm telling you this now, when you come to a country, you integrate into that country, you go by the laws of that country and you respect the people of that country. If you don't like to have the respect of the people that have given you sanctuary in their country, then you should leave. You should leave and come to Africa. Africa has the Sahara Desert. They have lovely areas here. They have lovely beaches. You can come here into Africa and you can start your own colony. You can start your own religion. You can do whatever you want to do. But don't come to a place where people have given you sanctuary and refuge from a tyrant that's thrown you out. Don't come and change the people there, because in the end it will go against you. And then there'll be a revolt, and in the end you won't like the consequences. England is getting to the point of such a thing, is that now we're finding that the laws that these people have brought are bringing their own laws into it. They're taking their own ways. They're not going by English law anymore. They're bringing their own ways. This is wrong. You can't do these things. England is an island. If you do anything wrong, they're going to find out. And when they find out, you will be into trouble. But again, it's just one of those things. Again, it's with people. People have got to change. We've got to stop making viruses. Whether this virus is man-made, or whether it came from the filthy marketplace of that place. Yes, we've got to stop these things. It's bad enough getting a bad cold, having a sore throat, trying to make life and your health better all the time. It's very, very difficult. We've got to stop it. We've got to try and make life a little bit more pleasant. We've got to talk to politicians. We've got to say to politicians, instead of keep taxing us on everything we have, you go to work, you pay your taxes. You go and buy something, you buy your taxes. Then you buy, on top of that, there you got another tax, like the VAT tax in England. Where is all this money going to? What's happening to the armed services, which, not having an army or a navy or an air force, that's not the point. These three armed forces give employment to people. They make people disciplined. They give people some sort of idea and structure to do. It protects the people in that country. A person in the special forces, he's not there. He joins the SAS or Delta Force or G9 or whatever he wants to go for. These people join the army because they like the outdoor life. They like to do the walking. They like to be sort of seen if they could do it. It's always like a challenge on something. These people are doing these things. They're just ordinary people like you and me. We don't want to go to war. We don't want to shoot the other enemy. The other enemy might be the same person what you are, with a family, with kids and that, and you're shooting them because he's going to shoot you. Because of politicians. Look at the Second World War. One man stands up. Why didn't the general just go up to him and bang, get rid of him straight away? No, millions and millions of people died. Wars get caused a lot of time, not because of, like in the Desert War, because of oil. People say, oh yeah, it's over oil. No, it wasn't. You go back 3 months before that Desert Storm, and that Desert War, you see an OPEC meeting and the ships were sitting off the coast, full up with oil. When Saddam Hussein went into there, Saudi were putting out 2 million barrels a day, Kuwait were putting out 2.2 million barrels a day. He went in to stop them doing it. Then he wanted to get the OPEC being together, but no. Margaret Thatcher had the super gun affair hanging over her head, and old man Bush wanted the armament contracts in the Middle East. Osama bin Laden, who'd been fighting with the CIA and everybody in Afghanistan against the Russians, he wanted to go in and get them out, but they said no. Left him on the side. They started the war. It took them the Brits and the Americans took them 6 weeks to get all the armaments put down into Saudi Arabia to go into Kuwait. In the meantime, Saddam Hussein, he had an army. They were tough men. They've been fighting a war with Iran for 15 years. Do you think these men are going to run away from somebody shooting a rifle? No. No. No, you've got to look at the other side, that they're all due to politics. And they're making money. And they take that money and not give it to the people in their own countries. They give it to foreign aid. Or they take the money and they put it into Swiss bank accounts. Oh yeah, we're going to send some money out. No, you're not sending money out. You're sending it to your own bank account. We know what you're doing. It's a total disgrace of what's happening with politicians. And can we do anything about it? No. We can't do anything about it. We know about it. Do we get free schooling in America? No. The only thing they teach in American schools is religion. Or they teach Latin. Latin's a dead language. The American school system absolutely stinks. And then when you try and get a diploma, you've got to go for an internship. If you can't get an internship, you don't get the diploma. After you go into school at these places, it's a total disgrace. The American system's 20 years behind times. They think, oh, we're very advanced people. No, you're not. You're 20 years behind times, mate, and I'm telling you. I've been there and I know it. I've seen it. I think these people are backward. And a lot of people, they don't even know what's outside America. You ask them where Africa is, they don't know. They've never heard of it. Can you believe it? How ignorant people are. And it all boils down to politicians. Look at this general election. Everybody wants to be a president. Ballot rigging, vote rigging. How do we know it's true? How do we know it's there? In England, they know what you vote. Because when you go into England, they give you a card. And on that card is a number. And when you go in there, they tick your name off on that there, and they give you that name of that card, tick. So when they pick it up, and they look at that vote of what you've done, whether you voted Communist, Liberal, Labour, Conservative, they know what you voted. So there's no good of hiding it. Today, we have cameras everywhere. We have spies everywhere. Our phones are tapped. Our computers are watched. We can't go anywhere. This world has got to change. It's not being changed for the best. It's only been changed for politicians, Facebook, all these other people. They're all spies. They're all watching what you're doing. They're watching you. They're wondering where you're going. Your passport's even got a chip in it. They know from a satellite where you are. It's a total disgrace. We can't go anywhere. You know, with politicians, I said to a politician, why don't you do away with tax? Let a man takes home what he earns. He makes some good money, and then put, say, 6 or 7% on the goods that you buy. The money's going to come back down there. You still got the tax man. Give people free schooling, like in America. Give people free medicine. Say to the people, okay, we'll give you free medicine. Every person in, say, the United States, pay $10 a week. $10. That's the price of a couple of beers. That $10 on every person, paying $10, would be enough to sustain all that medical system there is there. And plus the fact is this, if America and Britain stop going into wars in Afghanistan, the money you spend in Afghanistan and all these other places, spending all that money on billions and billions of dollars and going up into that stupid space station, spending billions of dollars, why don't you give it to the people on this earth? You've got to look after the people on the earth before you start going out of space. The reason why you're not going to the moon is because you don't know how to get off it. If you went to the moon in 1969, you should be on the moon now. Why are you still going to a space station? You tell me that there. If you look at my other videos, you'll see how the world began. And this you'll find exactly what I'm saying about the planets. Yes, more likely you will find there's water on different planets. Or was, but not enough to sustain life. You can't go to Mars. You can send a robot to Mars, of course you can. But the problem is this, people can't go, there's no atmosphere. You're going to die. You can only sustain there. You're not going to take you 3 years there to get 3 years coming back. You're not going to make it. So why are they messing around with things like, perhaps in the future they will do it. I remember when I was 8 years of age, I had a book, and I had a spaceman standing there beside a rocket. And I thought, they will never go to the moon. Now they say they went to the moon in 1969. Well, I'd like to see somebody else go there and pick the flag up there, which is there. I'm not saying they did, I didn't say they didn't. But what bothers me is how did they get off that moon with no atmosphere? That's what I like to know. Anyway, that's another story. Some other people can talk about that. But we've got to look after the people on this planet here. We've got to stop taking. We've got to stop polluting the sea. We've got to let the stocks of fish replenish themselves. We can't keep having the Russian ships coming down there and the other trawlers down there just fishing completely, the stocks complete. In the end there won't be nothing left. And then what are you going to do? You can't eat concrete. We've got to protect the farms. We've got to look after the wildlife. Even the birds in England have been depleted because they've been putting down slug pellets. The song thrush is just about extinct there. I haven't seen a song thrush for years. Because what they've done, the farmers, the people have seen slugs on their land. They've gone into town and they look for a pesticide. Yes, slug pellets. Oh, we'll put them down. So they put the slug pellets down. Sparrows come down. Song thrushes come down. The slugs eat the pellets. The birds eat the slugs. And what happens? They die. Now we've got an abundance of slugs all over the place because we've done away with the predator. We've done away with the thing that's going to look after them. It's going to eradicate them. And all we keep on doing is spraying. I used to spray crops with an airplane years ago. It was a diluted chemical. Now farmers are on the field and they're putting on, because If you watch an airplane spray, everybody will stand there and watch because it's interesting. But nobody will stand there and watch a farmer spraying a field with neat chemicals that the chemical company has sold him at a high price because your price of your food has rocketed it up. No, you don't think about that. But all that chemical that he's putting on that field is going into that soil, rains drained into the water system. You take the water, next minute you're sick. You're laying there in hospital, sick as a dog, and nobody cares. Can you prove it? No, you can't prove it. If you do, they just say, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. The man's completely stupid. Nobody stops and thinks. Nobody stops and thinks. I wonder, was it that? What about AIDS? You find that people who have got, say, like for example, they've got cancers, they go and get chemotherapy. They lose their hair. They lose their eyebrows. They lose everything like that. So what's wrong with you? Oh God, I'm having chemotherapy. Did you watch Chernobyl? When they had to blow up that nuclear reactor? That all came across all over the continent, came over to England, everywhere, all that fallout. The people in Chernobyl were contaminated with radiation. They lost their hair, they lost everything. What does radiation do? It breaks down the immunity system. What does AIDS do? It breaks down the immunity system. And that's what happens. If you have AIDS, more like you're okay. But if somebody comes in with a cold and sneezes on you, you get that cold, you have no immune system, so you're going to die. And then what do they say? Oh, he died of AIDS. No, he didn't. He died because the Long Island nuclear reactor blew up. And the first cases recorded were in New York. Go back and check. Can you prove it? No. Will people listen? No. They blame the green monkey of Africa. Green monkey of Africa. If the green monkey of Africa had AIDS from the beginning of time, it wouldn't be around. It'd be dead. It'd be extinct, gone, finished. It's man-made again. We don't seem to realize all these nuclear plants. Take a Geiger counter. Walk on the beaches. Walk on the beaches where there's nuclear reactors and take a Geiger counter with it. You see the bird population, the seagulls up there, all gone. Because their eggshells are gone. They've been in the sea. They're being polluted by this radiation. They've done all this. You talk to the electricity board and say, oh, that's causing radiation. Oh, no, it's not. You know, sounds, oh, no, it's very good for you. No? Excuse me, go swimming in the sea for me, will you, every day for 6 months? Will you do it? No, I'm not doing that. Now, of course you don't. You know what's going on. You know the dangers of that. You know the water's coming in, cooling those iron rods, those uranium rods, and you know it's going back out to sea. And when it's going back out to sea, it's contaminated with radiation, and it's going to affect the fish. The fish are going to be deformed. Do we know about it? Do we know if the fish are deformed? Of course we don't. All we see is on the fish shop, the piece of fish there with a batter on it. You don't know what that poor fish has gone through. Yeah. You want to start thinking about some of these things. You want to start thinking about when you go on the beach. Look at recently with this virus. People go on the beaches, ignorant and abyss of all the other people around. They don't care, and they leave all the trash on the beach. Bottles and plastic and paper. They didn't take the thing home with them because you've got no respect, not for other people, you've got no respect for yourself. Oh, just leave it there, somebody else come and pick it up. Oh, there's a bin over there. Oh, it's too far. Now you fat slob, you should go and put it in the bin and look after the environment so people like me don't get the illnesses that you are creating. And this is what's happening in now. We're all in a lockdown. We're all locked up into a house. We can't work. The money's not coming from the government to help you anymore. Do you think this thing is going to go away? How long do you think it's going to stay here? A friend of mine told me there's no cure for it and millions are going to die. And when it first came out, one president said, oh, there's only about 16 people got it. Oh, they'll be okay. No. There's over 16 million now and more, counting up to 60 million. And people are dying right, left and centre. Every person now, yesterday, on the news, every 10 minutes a person was dying in Los Angeles, LA. Google it and see it. I don't need to tell you lies. Can you imagine? 1, 2. People are dying. Because more than likely, a country went out, manufactured that virus to sell us billions and billions of medicines and tablets. So we make money for them. Funny that China makes that virus. They supply the Americans with 200 million face masks and rubber gloves. Funny China comes out with a vaccine that we're buying. Don't forget, you're not getting it free, you're buying it. You realise that more cocaine comes from China than anywhere else in the world? You didn't know? You don't know that sometimes a Bank of England, one bank in England is run by Chinese? And I don't need to tell you, it's a very, very upper class family that runs it. You want to Google some of these things. Stop now, you're sitting down, you've got nothing else to do, because you're not going to work. There's no work for you for another year. They tell you they've got a vaccine. A vaccine? Do you think I'm going to take that vaccine while it hasn't really been tested? If it's been tested for 5 years and you gave it a vaccine for like a flu, I'd say yes, more like have it. Because science and those people who are dedicated into the medical profession have gone out their way to help us. Politicians have you seen a politician die? Funny, oh, he's got the virus, but he lives. Other people are dying right. Oh, and the doctor's going to tell us who's going to live and who's going to die. What are they, God? Are these politicians God? I think these politicians need to start thinking there's other people around like me who are not going to tolerate people like them. It's a total disgrace the way they're acting, the way they're dealing with our money, they're playing with our lives. They don't have that right to do it. They don't have that right to tell us who lives, who dies, and whatever. If your time is up when I told you about this first thing, you're going to go regardless. You can't do anything about it. It's like, for example, we can make a robot. We've got cameras for our eyes. We've got things that would smell. We've got voices where we've got microphones. We've got loudspeakers for ears and things like that. We've got computers. We've got biotic arms. We could make an effigy of ourselves, put a solar panel on top of a head, like me more than likely, a chip in the brain is like a computer. We can program everything into that brain, which is a fantastic piece. We don't even use a small part of our brain. our brain is a thing that more like we can hear things, we can sense things. It's like dogs. Dogs can sense death. How can they do that? It's not strange. But just get back to the thing I'm talking about. We make a robot. We have a pump for the heart. You know, send the oil around, say the veins, and we send it to Mars. These two robots, or 6 robots, are all working there, and they're all talking to each other. One computer's talking to another. Then what we do, we find out in Mars that we can build them a shelter. We say call home or whatever they want to do, because we're trained from England. And we're sitting on a computer and we're controlling these people, like we control drones. We're sitting there and we're controlling them. Now we find that later on, in 10 years' time, these computers we've sent to Mars actually can make a better computer, one which is far more advanced, because technology has grown. So what do? We think, oh, we don't want the old computer anymore, so what we do, we hit delete. Now when we hit delete, bang, the computer crashes and down it goes, kills it. The same as what more likely God's doing with us. He's sitting there with a computer. We're on Earth. He's controlling us. When our time is up and we're of no use to anybody else, he hits a delete button. Zip, bang, off you go. Gone. The next generation comes up because they're far more intelligent than what we are. We're only intelligent for our era that we're on here now. I remember, which I was telling in my other video there, about this little arrowhead. This little arrowhead was predicted me from a teacup that I'm supposed to find. Why did a man, I don't know when the Ice Age was, I can't remember now, I have to Google up. 5 million years ago? 10 million years ago? Was this man at the Ice Age making that little arrowhead? Sitting there in the freezing cold, or, you know, it might have been summertime there. Sitting there doing nothing, making an arrowhead, ready for rabbits or killing birds or what you need to do to eat, to survive. Why did he want me to have that? I could never sell that thing, because it was meant for me. It was meant for me. The monetary value on that thing could be worth billions. Would I sell for billions? More likely, well, yes, I would, but no, I wouldn't. First of all, I don't need the money for that type of thing, to buy the things I don't really need. I've got everything there is. There's nothing I need. The only thing I do in life is to help somebody else. I'll go out my way to help somebody else. If they don't like it, okay, I'll move on to something else. But like I said, we've got to make life better for those who are less fortunate themselves. We've got to try and help somebody. Have I helped anybody? Have I gone out my way to help people? Well, I don't know. Am I a hero? I remember many years ago I was doing a changeover, driving some trucks, some lorries in England, on the M1 there, A45. A big tanker came right beside us, missed us by about 2 feet on an icy, I think it's February day, at night time. We used to do a changeover from Manchester. He used to bring it from Manchester and I used to swap the trailers and go back to somewhere else. This tanker driver came right across, right into the ditch, and the tank was laying on the side, full up with petrol, gas. Our friends, he could smell it. He could smell the petrol. He started to run. He said, "Get the hell, these thing's going to blow." I said, "No, I'll go on. I want to get the driver out. Go after the driver." I went to that driver. The cab was on its side. The driver, I said right-hand drive. I tried to open up that passenger door, which had to come up, and I had to hold it open while I looked down. It says driver laying there unconscious. I got him round, shook him round. He said, "My feet are trapped." I said, "Turn your engine off and your lights." Because I'm thinking this thing could blow up. If it blew up, I wouldn't be here today. I know I'd be going past Mars, saying, look at the Martians, hello, how are you today, you know what I mean? That's what happened. But did I care about myself? No. Would he have done it for me? Yes, truck drivers. Truck drivers are the most important people in the world. They are the backbone of every country. These men bring the goods from the market to your store so you can go and shop and feed your fat bodies. If these men went on strike, a country would come to a standstill. We've got to have more respect for these long distance truck drivers. You know, but like I said, going back to the tank driver, did I ask for any thanks? No, he'd broken his glasses and the cops came out there and I said, well, I'm on my way anyway, I left it. But my friend the next day said, you're a hero to go and help him. I didn't know what a hero was to me. Okay, I helped a man out of a cab, you know what I mean. Have I done anything else for other people? Yes, I have. I've done many things. But the thing is this, do I go into war-torn areas? I've been in war-torn areas, bring out soldiers being shot. Does it worry me? No, I don't worry about people with guns. They're no different from me and you. They think they are. They think they're tough and that they're not. I don't care how big a man he is. I'll have a fight with him anyway. Give me something to do anyway. I shouldn't really. I'm getting too old. So I don't care about it. But we have to start to think. We have to start thinking about the environment, this planet. It's not mine. It's not yours. It doesn't belong to kings. It doesn't belong to queens. It doesn't belong to presidents. These people are people who are here today and gone tomorrow, people. This planet is for the generations to come on this earth to enjoy the benefits of it, to enjoy the fruits of the earth, to feel the sun, to see the moon, see the phases of it, see the birds fly. You don't have the right to come here and take everything, shoot everything, not put anything back, just plunder. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? To be able to think that you are more important than anybody else. You're not. Me, I'm a low class scumbag. And that's where I like to be. Low class. Because I can't go any lower. And that's where I like to be. I don't want to go to the top. Because if I'm at the top and something happens, you slip down the bottom and everybody remembers you by. Oh, it's the king, you're the queen. Yeah, so what? What have you done for me? Nothing. You've done nothing for me. Done anything for the people? No. You're a figurehead. You're a president. Have you done anything for the people? Look at the past presidents of all different countries. Look at the people of today, all these presidents, these dictators. All they're doing is making life a misery for people. Taking all the millions and millions of dollars to buy a newer car, a bigger house. In the end, the people will come and take it off you because you're not looking after them. And soon this is what's going to happen with this virus. People are going to have no money. They're not going to be able to go into shops and buy food. And when a man finds he's got no food in the shop, in his belly, and his children are sitting there crying because some fat politician or some billionaire is sitting there having a banquet and drinking champagne, he's going to knock on the door. He's going to say, excuse me, I'll come for your bottle of champagne. And it will happen. It's a sad thing to say, but these things are going to happen like that. So we've got to, this year coming up, this new 2021, has got to be a stop. It's got to be a change for everybody. Not just me, but for you, your children, your future generations, the people you don't even, who are not here yet. You've got to now say, I want to make this life a nice thing for them to come and see, to see the things that you saw. Have a better life. Try and make things easier. Not to keep on wanting how much money you've got in the bank, how many gold Rolex watches you've got, how many airplanes you've got. Make it so that you can make life better, make the sea cleaner. Look, now we've had this virus, the rivers, the areas of Venice, they've all been cleaned up. Fish are coming back there. All these things are being cleaned up because we've polluted it. Let's just stop. Let's do this recycling program and use our common sense of using that plastic to make, say, a huge bag, 25 feet by 25 feet, and you've got a hurricane coming, put your car in it, turn it up, they pull it up, zip it up the top, it's waterproof. Put your tools in it for your garage. Put your settee in it. Put your television in it. Zip them all up. The water comes in, it resides out, okay? Everything you've got there, it's all safe. Your photographs, everything else there. Make homes hurricane proof. Not these cardboard things you're making now, and you're charging hundreds and thousands of dollars for it. A house today is about 400,000. Whether it's pounds or dollars, doesn't matter. They're not made of concrete, they're made of wood. I had a house made of wood that had fireproof doors on it. Fireproof doors on a wooden home. And then I went to a country the other month, and I see them building apartment blocks out of this chipboard. You know, when they put all the chips in there and they glue it all together. And just 3 stories up, they got all these apartment buildings, right? They put a sprinkler on inside there. They put the doors on which are fireproof. But the whole building is made of wood. It's going to go, if there's a fire, can you imagine it? Huh? Oh, I'll stand behind the door, you know what I mean? Or a hurricane comes past and they've got the roof with about nails like that on a piece of bracket like this, holding the roof down into the wall. They got nails like this, hammered into the wall, and they said, oh, there's a 200-mile-an-hour wind coming. It rips that roof off, blows the house down, and people say, look at my home. Of course it's look at your home, because you let some idiot build it, and you, as a sucker, you bought it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then the insurance man come down, he looks down and he says, yeah, so sorry about that. I'll give you $20. I'll give you £20. Well, why is that? Oh, it's an act of God, so it wasn't our fault. Sorry about it, it doesn't come under the small print. So no, all the days of your life, you have all the rubbish, your truck is upside down, your car's upside down, your settee's in the door neighbour's garden, he's in your garden, the fridge is gone, the food's gone, everything is gone. What you got left? Nothing. Match good, you're sitting there, the only thing to do is, mate, clean it up and go and buy some more. Hopefully you save some money, because the insurance is not going to pay it. These old insurance boys, no, they want your money, but they're not going to pay out, okay? So forget insurance for a start. They're a waste of time. You go, I remember I was going on holiday, and I said, oh, okay, I'll get some insurance. I paid $100 for insurance. My suitcase got ransacked, it got ruined, completely crashed. They ripped, where the zips are, you know, there, the zips are all broken off. The little tags are there, some idiot had ripped them off and all. I had no respect for my case whatsoever. Expensive case, cost me about £250 for a damn suitcase. This idiot, who's supposed to be a luggage handler, no respect for me, think himself tough, chucking all the bags everywhere, broke my bag. So I go and I claim off my insurance. I said, my suitcase is broken. Oh, they said, do you have the receipt? No, I don't really keep receipts. Did you report it to the airline? Oh no, I got there at 3 o'clock in the morning. There was nobody there to see. They said come back the next day. When I went back the next day, they said, well, you should report the night before. I said, well, I did. Now this goes on and on and on and on and on and on. In other words, they're not going to pay out. So do I have insurance now? No. Buy yourself a cheap suitcase. Don't buy any locks for it. Get those zip ties, you know, the ones for the electrical tape things. Stick them through there, zip them up, and that's it. Save you putting a lock in there, because the locks are going to get damaged, they're going to get broken. You've got to buy another lock. They're useless anyway, you know what I mean? Security can people open up there anyway. But always remember, when you go on holiday, put these zip ties in there. If they're broken, and you go through to exit, you go through the green channel, don't go through the green channel, go through a red channel, put your suitcase there and open it up. Especially if you're going to Thailand, you know, some of these other foreign countries, because if you've got drugs in them, somebody might put some drugs in there because you are the one carrying drugs, and they might tip them off, say, oh, that man coming through there has got drugs in there. So they're waiting for me. I go to the green channel, grab hold of me. Can we search your case? Oh yeah, there it is there. Oh, that's yours. So if your suitcase is open, before you go through customs, go to the side, open your suitcase up and look. And see what's in there. And if there's something in there you don't like, call the customs man over and say, that's in my suitcase. My suitcase was opened and I don't know what that is. Right? Now don't forget, if you go through something like that, they can't do anything about you in court or law, because the thing is this, you could turn around and you could say, well, I declared them. Whether yours or not, you declared them to say you want them taken out. Because the thing is this, you don't want to say, because they're going to say they're yours. If they're yours, you're going to be sticking in jail for a long time for it. And believe me, make sure that that thing is there. If you're suspect of something like that, you see a bin, take it and bin it. Chuck it away. If you don't want to go through customs, make sure that suitcase is clean, just with the stuff you've got into it. Don't go to these places and think you're going to be a mule for drug people, because of all the dogs. These animals, they smell, they know that thing. They'll sit down there. He wants a bone, he wants a sweet. You'll sit down, write your case, next minute you're gone. A friend of mine, they offered him $100,000 to take a small bag of cocaine through. He said, yeah. I said, you're an idiot. I said, don't do it. He said, what to do with the money? I said, what they're doing, they'll give you that money, 100,000, that small bag. They'll tip the customs off and saying, oh, this chap is coming through, he's wearing a leather jacket, jeans, a pink hat on, and he's carrying some drugs. But the man behind him is carrying 2 suitcases full, worth about $1 billion. They've given you 100 grand, it's nothing to them. A place like this, they've got money and they can't even put another $100 bills into it because they've got so much money, these cartels. They don't care about you. Don't do it. The answer question, no, 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 no. This easy money does not come easy. In the end, you'll pay a long, long price for it. All this easy money, if it's very easy to get, stay away from it. Believe me, I know. Don't do it. Stay away from those things. The temptation is there, and especially when you're young. You could do that thing. Oh, I could buy myself a new house and buy myself a new car. Oh, you'll get a new house, okay, but it'll have bars up it, you know what I mean? And when you shake them, nobody will let you out. So just remember, for 20 years sitting there for a lousy piece of drugs, no. Let them deal with it. Stay away from it, you know what I mean? There's other ways to make a life. Start making a living. Go and do something. Life, money is not going to come easy. So this, I hope you enjoyed most of these things here, but as I say, strange things do happen to you. You know, have a think about it. And if you've got something to share like that, or if you want your grievances to come out there, or you've got something to say, or you can more likely tell your congressman or your parliamentary candidate what you want. Try and help the doctor. Try and help the farmer. Try and help these other people. But the farmers and the chemical industries must help us. They've got to stop polluting the earth. We all know we've got pests around there, but if we do away with the predator, that pest is going to keep on coming back. It's the same which I tell people about malaria. If you've got, say, a cattle trough in England, anywhere, even in Africa here, you've got, say, like a small pond, put that vegetable oil on that water. The wind will come, it will go around the stems of all those plants. The fish will still be able to breathe. The cattle can still drink the water because it's oil, it's corn oil. But it stops the malaria. It stops the mosquitoes biting you. And plus the fact is, I've found out this here. If you've got malaria, a friend of mine had it, and what he did, he was cutting the lawn one day with his lawnmower, and he ran across an electric fence. And what did he do? He picked the electric fence off, got a terrible shock off it, and it killed his malaria. A damn jolt on that electric cattle fence, what he picked up with, killed his malaria. So that's why I tell people about it. Plus the fact is, I get bitten by a mosquito, and you get bitten on the arms or something, and you keep on itching. Itch. I've found now, what I've done, if I'm sitting out and I've got a hot cup of tea, I get the hot kettle and I put it on, oh, it burns like hell. But I'm telling you, within 5 minutes, that won't itch. You've killed whatever is in there with that heat. You've killed it. Or if I come in here, I've been itching on the arm, or I've been bitten by a mosquito. I go to that sink, I turn the hot tap on, I put my arm on it there. Now as it gets hotter and hotter, and it's coming out, it's not really scalding, but it's really hard and it's burning like hell. I put it in there, 5 minutes or 2 minutes later, you won't itch. It'll kill that, it'll kill whatever's in there. Try it. I do it. I don't take any of these malaria tablets anymore because when I was in Africa before, I caught hepatitis and they gave me the last rites. That's another story. But like I say, if you go abroad and you get sick, drink and keep on drinking because you won't want to. You'll feel so sick. It's like when you get stomach aches and things like that. It feels as though you've drunk 2 bottles of whiskey and your body is completely sick. You've got to flush that stuff out. Flush it out. Keep on flushing out. Get it out of your system. Always remember, when you're abroad or anywhere like that there, cook your food very, very well. It's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what. If you want to eat it rare or raw or half cooked or whatsoever, it's up to you. But watch some of these videos of people doing hamburgers. They get salmonella. They nearly die. I was watching one, I think, on the computer here, about this young kid who was at a barbecue, took some meat up, and he thought it was cooked, but it wasn't. It was half cooked. He put his mate had salmonella. Oh my goodness! And he nearly died because of it. Yes, of course, we used to do this thing here, but the problem is now that all these animals, which are farm animals, they're being bred in such a way they're not natural anymore. They're all given hormones for this. We're giving them this, that, there. We're giving more to keep more lean. We're not allowing them to just run freely or things like that. You know, we're doing too much of this battery farming. Not that it's needed. We can let the chickens still run free and feed them the way they are. They still be better eggs and better chickens themselves. But I don't know. I don't know the answer. You know, the question is that I do know for a fact we're taking too much from this planet, and in the end, it's going to take over us. Mankind will kill themselves, and the only thing that's going to be left is the vegetation. We sit here in a house with a TV and a computer and everything else we want, but the plants will actually take over. They'll grow. Crops will grow. The ants will still be here. Great little things, ants. They come. They're the vacuums of the vacuum cleaners of the earth, of the world, because they clean up the rubbish that you and me have left. The food waste and that there. Don't blame ants because they're in your house. Blame yourself because you haven't cleaned the place up. You left filth around. You left food around. You're to blame. Yeah, me and all. So, the answer to the question is: let's make the future for our future generations. Let's make it better for them. Let's make it better for ourselves. Let's make it so we don't have to walk around with face masks on, like bandits. Never thought I'd ever go in a bank with a face mask on. Can you imagine it? That's an everyday occurrence. We could ask China, stop polluting. Take a chimney. Take the bottom of the chimney, put a gas ring around it, another one around the top, so the smoke comes through the bottom. It burns at once, goes to the top, burns twice. Is that simple? We stop the pollution, we stop the smoke. Will they do it? No. Do you know why? Because they don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. Politicians don't even know your name. But they want you to vote for them. The Queen don't know who you are. The kings don't know who you are. The presidents don't know who you are. The dictators don't know who you are. They're only interested in sitting in their big palaces, eating the food that you've made for them. And they think that you are scum and they are better than you. In actual fact, it's the opposite way round. Because they're no better than you. In fact, it's been proven. Anyway, I've had enough of talking, so I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like it, tick it, subscribe to it, do it. If you don't, I don't care. I really don't care. But you are the ones going to have to care for your future generations. Anyway, let's hope 2021 is going to be a better year for us all. Let's hope. It's up to all of us. Okay, goodbye.